The spiritual vision in dreams, the mind that sees beyond matter. Kardec explains that the spirit, during incarnation, does not lose its essential faculties. It only exercises them in a limited way through the material organs. But at certain moments, during sleep, trance, or ecstasy, the spirit partially detaches from the body and regains its spiritual vision, capable of perceiving the invisible world that surrounds it. This faculty is called spiritual or psychic sight, and is also manifested under the name of double vision. Double vision is the simultaneous perception of the physical and spiritual worlds. While the body remains awake, the spirit broadens its consciousness and sees what is happening beyond matter. It is the phenomenon that explains premonitions, visions, and the lucidity of sleepwalkers. Kardec shows that this faculty is natural and varies in intensity according to each individual's sensitivity and moral purity. Our elevated spirits are constant and illuminated. In incarnated beings, intermittent and limited by bodily imperfections, modern brain science is beginning to glimpse the mechanisms that allow these perceptions. Research on altered states of consciousness shows that during trance, the brain enters theta and delta frequencies, favoring out-of-body experiences and vivid visions. Electrical activity decreases, allowing areas of the cortex responsible for self-perception to partially deactivate, opening space for non-local perceptions. What neuroscience considers a phenomenon of expanded consciousness, Spiritism regards as the partial detachment of the spirit, acting through the perispirit. Sleepwalking, says Kardec, is the most evident manifestation of the spirit's independence from the body. The sleepwalker acts under the domain of their own spirit, which sees and feels outside of the physical senses. Therefore, he perceives what is happening at a distance, reads thoughts, and heals through magnetism, because he acts directly on the fluids without the material filter. Lucid sleepwalking is, therefore, a temporary form of spiritual vision. Contemporary neuroscience calls expanded consciousness the states in which the brain synchronizes slow and coherent waves, allowing access to deep memories and perceptions beyond the ordinary. Experiments in sleep laboratories show that, during the so-called lucid REM sleep, the individual can have full awareness and interact with highly structured mental realities. For Spiritism, this is not merely a brain creation, but the spirit experiencing real experiences in another plane of existence. For sleep is the partial emancipation of the soul. Kardec states, during sleep, the spirit regains part of the freedom it had before incarnation. It visits other spirits, recalls the past, receives instructions, and foresees the future. Dreams, therefore, are partly symbolic memories of these spiritual experiences. Many dreams are confusing because the brain, upon waking, cannot fully translate the perceptions of the spiritual plane. Others, however, are so vivid and coherent that they leave deep impressions. They are spiritual dreams, authentic encounters of the soul outside the body. Quantum physics of consciousness offers an interesting parallel. Several studies suggest that the mind is not confined to the brain but interacts with a universal information field. In this field, time and space are relative, exactly as spirits described to Kardec. During sleep, consciousness can move through this ocean of information and perceive subtle realities, momentarily freeing itself from material coordinates. The perispirit is the vehicle of these perceptions. It is the one that captures spiritual vibrations and translates them to the spirit. When the body sleeps, the perispirit detaches but remains connected by fluidic bonds that ensure life. This partial separation explains the sensations of flying, falling, or floating that many experience in dreams. Reflections of the real perceptions of the spirit in movement. Transpersonal psychology and integrative neuroscience already recognize that dreams can contain transformative and even healing information. Experiments show that dreaming about intense emotional situations helps reorganize memory and mental balance. Spiritism adds that, beyond psychological processing, there is spiritual exchange. Dreams are messages, encounters, and instructions that often profoundly influence conscious life. Thus, spiritual sight, double vision, sleepwalking, and dreams are manifestations of the same reality. The spirit, even when incarnate, is never fully imprisoned by matter. The soul sees, feels, and acts in the spiritual world, and the body is only its temporary instrument of expression. These phenomena prove that man is a being of two worlds, and that spiritual life is a continuation of present life. Understanding the spiritual vision is understanding the eternal nature of the being. Spiritism unites what science studies and what faith perceives. consciousness is immortal, and dreams are the bridge that reminds us of this. If this reflection has brought you light and hope, share it. Because understanding the spiritual vision and dreams is recognizing that life continues, even when the eyes are closed.